channel. We are back in my kitchen, and today we are making stuffed bell peppers, and I'm going to have baked tomatoes to go with that as well. So let me show you how we're going to make these stuffed bell peppers. Before we started the video, we pre-browned about 2 pounds of ground beef that we seasoned with garlic powder and Italian seasonings. Now you can add whatever seasonings you like, and when I season things like this, it's to taste. I don't measure it or anything like that. So add whatever seasonings you like, but we use garlic and Italian seasoning. And then we added to the meat 1 large onion that was chopped, about half of a tomato that was diced up, and we used half of a chopped jalapeno pepper. Now take the seeds out if you don't want this to be too spicy. If you like the heat, by all means leave the seeds in the peppers when you chop it up. Leave it in there. Okay, so we got the meat going and it was seasoned well, and so we added those vegetables and then we drained it. And then after we drained it, we put it back in the pan and we added 2 cans of Rotel. Now you can use any store brand of tomatoes and peppers. I think one time I found a Walmart brand, but I usually cannot find it. But Rotel's pretty cheap on its own. But by all means, if you make a homemade variety, use that. So 2 cans of Rotel or any can of diced tomatoes with peppers. Do not drain it. Leave the juice in there. That adds a lot of flavor to it. So we've got that mixture right here. So to this mixture, you would want to add about a cup of rice, cooked rice. Now we had leftover rice from the Chinese food we had last night. I'm a big proponent of using leftovers. Waste not, want not. So if you have leftovers like this, please use them. But by all means, you can cook rice for the occasion. I would probably use a little more than this if I was cooking it to make this. But I would say this is probably about a cup. So we're going to add this to our meat. And if you get the fried rice and you have it left over, I would say use it. It's going to add some flavor to it. Okay, to this, we're going to add about half a cup of panko. We may need a little more. I'm going to mix it up and then see what it looks like. But we're going to start with half a cup. And these are just plain panko crumbs. They're not seasoned. All right, so let's get that good and mixed up and we'll see what the mixture looks like. It might have been a good idea to warm the rice a little bit so it wouldn't be all clumpy, but we're going to deal with that right now because I have allowed my meat to cool off a little bit. But these recipes that I'm sharing with you, I hope they inspire you to create new recipes for your family, things you haven't thought of making or things you haven't made in a while. You don't have to follow my recipe step by step. If you have things that you like that I'm not putting in these, or if I'm putting something in here you don't like, you don't have to use it. This is going to be your creation. I want you to be creative in the kitchen. But by all means, if you want to follow my recipe, you can. Now, if you make my recipe, I would like to know if you would please share that in the comments. If you make one a little differently, please let me know that one too and tell me how you like it. Okay, I think that's enough panko for this. Okay, so you can use any kind of cheese. I'm using an Italian blend. It's mozzarella, provolone, Parmesan, Romano, Fontina, and Asiago. But you can use just plain Parmesan or even a cheddar if you like. Like I said, this is yours. That's probably about half a cup. I'm going to put that in there. Let's mix that up and see if we need any more. So tell me in the comments, do you measure everything precisely? Or do you just kind of eyeball things? If it's a recipe that I'm following that belongs to somebody else and I haven't made it before, I usually follow the recipe. But after I've made it a few times, and this is probably a combination of several recipes I've seen. After I've made it a while, I can kind of estimate on the seasonings and stuff like that. And I don't have to measure everything. But if you are more comfortable measuring things, by all means. So I would think if you wanted to measure and use these ingredients, maybe a teaspoon of the garlic and a teaspoon of the Italian seasonings. That might work for you. Let me get this rice in here. Okay, so I think that's good. I don't think we need any more rice or panko or cheese. Now, I've seen people use corn in their recipes. I've never done that. It might be good. I don't know. I've never had it with corn. If you've had it with corn, if you make yours with corn, please let me know that. You can also add whatever vegetables you like. Play with this recipe. Make it your own. You can do shredded carrots, peas. If you don't want to use rice, you're trying to go low carb, use cauliflower rice instead. It's all your creation. So just be imaginative. You know, you can do this. You can do this. All right. So my peppers are cool enough for me to touch them. And they still have a little water in them, but that's fine. I put a little olive oil on my pan. I didn't, saturate it or anything. I just don't want my peppers to stick to it. You can use cooking spray or some other oil if you like. So I'm just going to place these on my pan. Let me move these out of the way so you can see better. All right, now I have different colors. I have the green variety, some yellow, and some red. I love colors. Do you love the colors, the different colors in your foods? To me, it makes it more interesting and it makes it more appealing. I really like that. So let's get these peppers on here. Most of them are green, but I do have it was one yellow and one red one that we threw in there. We have a local farmer's market that we go to. They have this deal on Sundays where you can get different, a variety of vegetables in a bucket for a good deal. And we actually filmed ourselves shopping there. So we'll kind of share that video later. The people there are so nice. Anytime you can buy local produce, please do it. It supports the local farmers. You know, we live here in Pensacola, Florida, and that market, most of their produce is either grown here in Florida or in Alabama. And we live very close. We're very close to the Alabama line. So I've got these laid out on my pan here. So we're going to begin stuffing. And we may have more meat than peppers. And if I do, I'm going to freeze it and use it to make peppers at a future date. It's okay if they spill over. It's quite okay. Some peppers are bigger. And don't be afraid to use your hands. Just make sure they're clean. Okay. Now, I'm not going to, but you could add some marinara or some tomato sauce, or I've even used tomato soup and pour it over the tops. I'm not going to do that this time. I may do that in a future recipe for this, but today we're not. So we're just going to stuff these. Be generous, and like I said, don't be afraid to spill over a little bit. That one needs a little more. But make sure you get all the ingredients in there. If it gets a little, you can open it up. Yeah, spilling over a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, getting these stuffed here. And then I'll show you how I make the baked tomatoes in another video. Because you may not be interested in that one, or you may only be interested in that one. I love the baked tomatoes. It just adds a lot of flavor to them. And I love farm-grown tomatoes. I'm not a big fan of buying tomatoes at the grocery store. I think they pick them before they're ripe. And, you know, unless you're going to fry green tomatoes, I'd rather have them ripen on the vine. They taste so much better. It doesn't look like I'm going to have enough to freeze, so I'm going to really pack these tight. But, you know, I also like to make things that I can freeze, pull out of the freezer, pop in the oven, pop in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot. You know, just for the days when you have more time to cook, if you can prepare things ahead of time. So on the days that you're busy and don't have a lot of time, you can just throw it in the crock pot. And, you know, after your busy day, you know, your dinner will be ready. Just look for some of the ones that may need a little more in there. So that one. And I'm getting this over on the side. That's okay. After they bake, we can scoop that up on the side. It's going to be delicious. And I can't wait to try them. Okay, so we're going to add just a little more panko to this over the top. And I'm not going to measure this. I'm just going to put a little in my hand. This will give it a crisp top. Alright, got that covered with the panko. I think I do need to add a little black pepper, excuse me. Okay, now I'm going to top it with some of the cheese. Do y'all like cheese on just about everything? Yeah, cheese. I can't think of many things that cheese isn't good on. That melty goodness that comes out of the oven. This smells good already. I know it's just going to smell divine while it's in the oven. These are ready to go in the oven. So my oven is preheated to 350. They're going to bake for about 30 minutes. And everything's pre-cooked, but we just want to get everything hot and the cheese all melty and bubbly and brown on the top. So let me put these in the oven and then we'll be right back to show you the results. Okay, we're back. Everything's out of the oven. I've already plated up a couple of peppers and the tomatoes. Isn't that pretty? The red and the green and then the red tomatoes. It's gorgeous. I wish you could smell this. It just smells amazing. So let's give this a try. So let's try the pepper first. You know, that's nice and tender. Make sure I get some of this stuffing in here. There we go. This is very good. I love it. Let's try the tomato. Look at the crust here. Okay. Tomato's really hot. It just came out of the oven. I think this is a meal that you will enjoy as much as I know I am. Everything's delicious. So again, if you try this, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe. Click the bell button so you'll be notified when I make more videos. I'm doing cooking videos, but I'm also doing crafting and health and wellness. And I'd like to take you on my weight loss journey. So, yeah, so I hope I've inspired you to get in that kitchen and get creative and make something new that you don't normally make for your family. So I'm going to go enjoy my dinner now, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed evening. Bye now.